Hello, everybody. How are you today? I hope that you are having a very good day or have had a good day, depending on what time it is when you see this video. And I certainly want to express my sincerest gratitude and appreciation for tuning in to me once again. And I graciously welcome you to another episode of TJ's Topics. And of course, you know that TJ is me. And I tell you, I'm so glad to see you. I really am. Now, to be honest with you, I wasn't going to do a show today because I got a lot of other things to do, and I'm going to get to that shortly. But after viewing some videos this evening of others, particularly some of my Facebook friends, I decided to go ahead and put a little something together. And to be honest with you, I kind of wanted to anyway because I wanted to wear my nice carnation pink tie set. And one reason why I'm wearing it is because we are standing right on the threshold of the beginning of spring. Spring starts in about 2 weeks. However, if you look around, you will see where everything is already looking and feeling like spring. I mean, the temperatures have warmed up and we got all these little flowers and stuff beginning to bloom here and there. Various trees are starting to sprout their leaves. And I tell you, it is absolutely gorgeous. And this is one of my favorite times of the year because spring signifies new life. And believe it or not, spring is actually the beginning of the real new year. A lot of you may not know that because, we've always been taught that the new year begins in the month of January, January 1st to be exact. However, that is not really the case because for those of you who are aware of how things have been tampered with regards to the timing of seasons of the year and even in our own lives, there's a whole lot of things that have been thrown off as a result of folks who lived way back. I'm talking about hundreds of years ago, maybe even thousands of years ago. And the way they measured time, and they decided that the way they saw it, that's how it ought to be for all the proceeding generations. But that's just not the case. I mean, because why would the new year begin in the heart of the winter? Come on now, that's stupid. When it's cold outside, you got all this snow on the ground or ice. Like we had a bunch of ice storms back here about a month or so ago. And people running around here hollering Happy New Year. I don't see nothing happy about that. When you stranded and can't get around, you stuck in the house, everything froze up, pipes busted. How in the world is that a Happy New Year? And that's pretty much what I want to talk about this evening. How has 2023 been treating you so far? Only you can answer that because you know the experiences that you've encountered throughout the past 2 to 3 months since we've been in 2023. Now, of course, back in December, we all were anticipating the changing of the calendar from 2022 to 2023. And so now here we are in the year 2023, but it's like there are certain things that appear to have carried over from 2022. For example, inflation, that's still going on. And, people going through things on their jobs and going through marital problems and relationships and things like that have carried over from 2022 to 2023. But you know what? I consider myself an optimist, and I know that everyone is not like me, and that's fine. But I always try to see the good in different things, no matter what the case is, no matter what the situation may be. Because every year that we are allowed to walk on this planet should be considered a blessing, because there are so many people who wanted to be here who are no longer here. And there are those who have started out with us in this year who may not finish with us at the end of this year. So no matter how it looks from what you consider the new year on January 1st, which we know that's not really the new year, all the way up to December 31st, which is the so-called ending of the year. No matter how it looks, we ought to count it all joy. We ought to be grateful that we even survived it, because there are so many people out here who have perished due to events or situations or circumstances that were far less or far greater than we have dealt with, and so that's why I'm always trying to see the good in everything, because everything happens for a reason. And here we are getting ready to exit winter finally and about to cross over into the season of spring, which brings new life, new beginnings, and a new hope for everybody, or at least it should. So my question to you is, what are you looking forward to as we begin to turn the corner on the seasons, and even as we progress further into year 2023? Mind you that 2023 is the year of 7, and 7 is the number of completion, meaning that there are some things that could very well be coming to a close sometime in this year. Now, on a personal note, I'm happy to say that there's at least one thing that I know that's getting ready to come to a close for me by the end of 2023, and that is a significant amount of debt that I've had for years. I've been paying on different things, and as I get one thing paid off, then I try to shift some of that money over to another thing so I can bring that down. Well, I tell you, debt is bondage. Bondage is, like slavery, of course. And we don't need to owe any man anything, because when we are in debt to somebody, it keeps us bound, and it's hard for us to really enjoy life the way it was meant to be enjoyed. So anytime you're able to get out of debt, that is a blessing. But now you got some people out here who, for some reason or another, feel like it's all right to be in debt, because you're going to owe somebody until you die anyway. You're going to always, we know we're going to always have bills. I mean, We know that. There'll always be, whether it's utilities or insurance or taxes. We know that. But some people, they just love to increase the amount of debt they have, thinking that they're doing a good thing, but they're really not. All they're doing is setting themselves further behind. Now, would you consider that a happy new year? Study putting yourself in a hole, trying to keep up with the Joneses? Because I'm going to tell you, keeping up with the Joneses will keep you in the hole. I don't see the purpose in that. I don't see the purpose in trying to be like other folk, trying to impress them, because to be honest with you, most of the people whom we're trying to impress really don't care anything about us to begin with. And it took me some years to learn that, but I'm so glad I did, because they're not your friends anyway. I mean, they may grin with you, and they may shuck and jive with you and shoot the breeze with you and stuff, may even work with you, but they're not your friends. Let something happen, or let you fall on hard times, or whatever, and see how long they be around, if they even be around. Most time they just gonna turn and go the other way. But yet they're supposed to be your friends. So anyway, and regarding 2023, I think that there will be a certain amount of revelation to come forth in this year. There may be some things revealed to us that we need to understand a lot better, more clarification on a number of things. And because understanding is the best thing in the world. I've heard that pretty much all my life. And now I know from experience that that is true. Understanding is a very good thing to have. And therefore, when we have it, we ought to not only appreciate it and never take for granted, but we should also be willing to impart some of that understanding into the lives of others, regardless of who they are. Because there are many people out here who don't have the same level of understanding or the type of knowledge that we have. And if we're in a position to bless them and to help bring them up to the level where we are, then by all means, we should do it. And it's not about trying to gain anything for ourselves. We're not looking for any brownie points or anything like that. It's just that we want to see others grow as we have grown. Because think about the time when we were ignorant to a lot of things and didn't have understanding, and someone was kind enough to us to where they came and imparted wisdom and knowledge into our lives. And that in turn brought us up to where they were. So it's good to pay it forward. It really is. And I hope that 2023 will be the year of paying it forward for a lot of people, including myself. Because anytime I'm able to help somebody, and here's the thing. Now, you can't help everybody in the same manner that you help some. Some folk think that when it comes to helping somebody, it's all about giving money and this and that. It doesn't always have to be monetary. That can be at times, but help can come in all shapes, forms, and fashions. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, just the idea, if someone is kind enough to show you love and generosity and to lend a helping hand, I mean, that in itself is something to be grateful for. So let me ask you something. As we moving further into this year, is there anything that you hope to see come into fruition in this year? You know, whether it be getting out of debt, or buying a new car, or moving into a new home, or starting a business, earning your college degree, going back to school to finish up your, some people haven't even graduated from high school. They may want to go back and get their GED. That right there is a big help. And someone has to have the patience to teach you the lessons that you need to know in order to earn your diploma or degree, whatever the case is. So, I mean, people need one another. We're not islands unto ourselves. We all have to, lend a helping hand, and then someone helps us along the way as well. And I think that the further we go into this year and in the years to come, we'll see a lot of that, and hopefully one day, whether it be in my lifetime or not, there will come a day when there won't be so much bitterness and anger towards one another due to issues like racism and, skin color and um, sexual orientation and whatever religion you are, or no affiliation to religion whatsoever. Hopefully, one of these days, the world will be like that. Like I said, I may be around to see it and I may not, but I just believe that there will be a change of some sort to take place in the future. And that's something that humanity as a whole ought to look for and strive for, if at all possible. I mean, it would definitely make the world a better place. So in the meantime, I would like for us to make our own world a better place in 2023, right where we are. Because think about this, each one of us has a different perspective of the world based on our geographic location and the things that we've experienced in our circle, where we live, because most of us have probably been in the same geographic area our entire lives, whereas others may have had the opportunity to move here and move there, different cities and different states and even different countries. But no matter what it is, wherever you find yourself at this moment, that is in fact your world. And you have the ability to make your world a better place right there where you are. And hopefully each and every day that we're allowed to wake up in the morning, we're able to do something that will make our world a better place and the people who are in our world a better people, But it all starts right here in our mind. If we got the right frame of mind, then typically everything else will fall into place. And that is my sincerest hope for the remaining days, weeks, and months of the year 2023. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of you out there who were kind enough to tune in to me today. I really enjoyed this time that we had together. And I look forward to sharing some more time with you in the days, weeks, and months ahead. This has been TJ's Topics. And I, of course, am Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. And I will definitely look forward to seeing you on the next go round. Okay? Thank you so much for tuning in to me. And I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.